Next on Worcester News tonight, a warning from doctors as we head into the summer months. They are urging people to protect their skin. Plus, a deadly crash claims the lives of 7 motorcyclists. The tragedy has a safety school warning drivers to be more aware. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. A beautiful start to the work week after a sunny weekend. Safe to say it's finally starting to feel like summer, but as we head into the rest of the week, there is a chance of thunderstorms. Let's get a first look at our local forecast to find out more.
Beauty today, temperature hit 80 or better. A lot of spots upstream. There's quite a front. It stretches from central Canada to the coast of Texas. The flooding has left Houston, Texas, but we have spots of severe weather upstream, and we may get a thunderstorm. Thing is, we have drier air here in the northeast, and this is a warm front. It will become more humid tomorrow, just enough that there can be some heavy thunderstorms. No problem outside this evening. Latest sunsets of the year, and we're still around 80 degrees. Here are the clouds tending to thicken up a little bit between 10 and midnight. We're still dry through about sunrise, about 5 o'clock in the morning, 59 or 60 degrees. The clouds continue to thicken, and now here's some rain, 10:30 in the morning. It's only 65 to 70. The air is going to become more humid, though. Heavy thunderstorms just off to the south, maybe a shower or the thunderstorm anywhere really during the afternoon. Temperature's going to hold pretty much in the 60s, so kind of a damp afternoon. And then we dry it out, and we may get near 90 in the extended forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Tim. And as we enter summer months, many may be eager to head outside and get some sun. But according to the American Cancer Society, close to 95,000 people are expected to be diagnosed with melanoma, and more than 7,000 will die from the cancer this year. Doctors are reminding people to protect their skin. Our Chandler Walsh joins us live now with more. Chandler.
Olivia, a UMass dermatologist and surgeon, says the best way to prevent sun damage is to avoid UV light, especially from peak hours of 10 to 2. She also says to keep applying sunscreen SPF of 30 or higher. It's exactly what some here on Shore Park spending the day in the sun did.
That actually I use for my back because I can't reach my back. And then lip stuff.
Wendy Zalatan is prepared for her day in the sun at Shore Park with an arsenal of sunscreen. She relaxed in the shade, but still reapplied.
And I really do try to cover myself. I'm not a lover of the spray because I feel like it can control the lotion better.
She says her routine prevents the discomfort from minor burns.
You don't want to sleep on your back.
Riley McLean-Mandel is a dermatologist at UMass Memorial Medical Center. She says sun damage goes beyond burns and aging. It can cause 2 types of cancer. She says up to 20% of the population will get non-melanoma cancer at least once.
Those are the type that more frequently present as a spot that's either sore or bleeding, and they're treated with something like Mohs surgery, where you come in and you have a local procedure done.
When it comes to identifying melanoma, McLean-Mandel is looking for warning signs like asymmetry, border, color, and size. She says melanoma is aggressive and can be fatal if it's not caught early.
Unfortunately, with melanoma, if it grows deep enough, and deep is very small, like a fraction of an inch, you're talking about a melanoma that will likely have spread to the brain, to the lungs, to different parts of the body.
McLean-Mandel recommends wearing protective clothing like wide hats and sunglasses and applying sunscreens every 2 hours.
The summertime when people come in and they have a sunburn and they're there for us to treat a skin cancer, it's really disheartening for us.
Zalatan says she never used sunscreen as a kid, but now it's a different story.
Now that we've learned so much about skin cancer, I find that you can't ignore that kind of evidence.
McLean-Mandel says melanoma is one of the leading cancer killers in women under 30. She says the key is for people to protect themselves and limit sun exposure when young. She says the sooner good habits are formed, the better. Live in Worcester, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
State and local police are investigating a drowning in the Quabbin River over the weekend. The Worcester County District Attorney's Office has identified the victim as 54-year-old Kevin Dion. The West Brookfield man was first reported missing Saturday after his friends called his cell phone and he didn't answer. The DA's office says he often fished near the river. His lawn chair and belongings were found by the riverbank, and his body was discovered by boaters around 6:30 Saturday afternoon. The DA's office says Dion's death does not appear to be suspicious. The case is under investigation. 2 people are indicted in Worcester Superior Court in connection to a fatal shooting in the city. The Worcester County District Attorney's Office confirms 26-year-old Devin Rivera was indicted on multiple charges, including murder and armed robbery. Rivera's girlfriend, Ariana Boss, was indicted on the charge of being an accessory after the fact to murder. Prosecutors say Boss was the getaway driver in the fatal shooting. 34-year-old Roberto Hernandez-Gil was killed in the May Street shooting on Russell Street. A car crash in Marlborough damages at least 2 vehicles. The crash happened on Lakeside Avenue. You can see there was major damage to one car, which rolled onto its side. It's not yet clear what caused the crash or if anyone was hurt. The motorcycle community is mourning the loss of 7 people killed in a devastating crash in New Hampshire late last week. The Central Mass Safety Council says they teach young drivers to look twice while on the road to prevent a tragedy like this from happening. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us live now with more. Brittany?
Olivia, they teach motorcycle safety in all of their courses. They say it's sometimes difficult to see motorcyclists on the road and it's easy to misjudge their distance. Motorcyclists across central Massachusetts are devastated after hearing news of a horrific crash.
That made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
More than anything else, I just can't stop feeling for those people.
A Massachusetts man is charged with 7 counts of negligent homicide. Prosecutors say his truck collided with 10 motorcycles in New Hampshire Friday. Rob Masser is the assistant director of the Central Mass Safety Council and has been riding for decades. He wants to prevent tragedies like this from happening.
As a trainer, I don't know that I could possibly express to you or anybody watching how much it hurts to see somebody go through that. I have an unlimited amount of sympathy for the surviving family and friends of the people who didn't survive that crash. And there's a part of me that wants to know exactly what happened so that I can do my job to try and protect other people in the future from it happening again.
The Safety Council lost a member of its own in a motorcycle accident in 2015. Masser says 25-year-old Brian Tangney was a gentleman and a friend.
To lose one of my best friend's sons like that, and a co-worker, and in particular somebody that I was close with, was extremely hard. Pretty much the most difficult time I've had here since I began working.
Worcester's Glenn Gravlin has been riding motorcycles for 30 years. He says he was hit by a car while riding before, and it's a scary situation.
Guy made a right-hand turn from the left-hand lane, didn't see us, and knocked us right down. We weren't really going. I was just starting to go. I wasn't even going 2 miles an hour. She got damaged. So it can be very dangerous. It can always also be extremely wonderful.
Masser says there isn't much protection on a motorcycle, so all need to be more aware and cautious.
There's no safety glass, there's no seat belts, there's no airbags, there aren't crumple zones. It's easy to misjudge the distance and the speed of a motorcycle, so it's really important to just do what those yellow signs say. Check twice to save a life.
Masser says in New England there aren't motorcyclists on the roads often because of long winters, so drivers might not be as used to them, and he can't stress the importance enough of checking twice. Olivia, back to you.
All right, thank you, Brittany. And the tragedy is gaining national attention. The truck driver involved in the deadly crash is facing charges. Catherine Underwood reports from Springfield, where the suspect was arraigned earlier today.
Vladimir Zhukovsky facing a judge for the first time since he allegedly caused this horrific crash in Randolph, New Hampshire Friday night. His attorney addressed reporters after court.
It's tragic for the families involved. It's tragic for the victims in this, and it's tragic for his family too. And I'm not trying to equate that they're all the same. I'm making no such suggestion.
Mass State Police arrested Zhukovsky at his West Springfield home early this morning on a warrant out of Coos County up in New Hampshire. He's facing 7 felony counts of negligent homicide. The New Hampshire Attorney General's office says Zukovsky was driving a Dodge pickup truck hauling a flatbed trailer heading west on Route 2 when he crashed into 10 motorcycles that were driving in the opposite direction. 7 people were killed, 5 members of the Jarheads MC, a motorcycle club made up of Marine Corps veterans and their spouses. 4 of the victims are from New Hampshire, 2 from Massachusetts, and 1 from Rhode Island. We're told they were on their way to a charity event in Gorham, New Hampshire, when Zukovsky crashed into them.
The victims in this case may be members of our military or related to members of our military, and they don't deserve this. Everyone understands that. It makes it extends this. It makes it a bigger tragedy because they've served our country. Nobody deserves what they got.
At the time of the crash, Zukovsky was driving a Westfield transport truck. It's a vehicle transport company out of West Springfield. Another development in this case is that arresting officers say they found some baggies in Zukovsky's home this morning. Those baggies are now being tested at the State Police Crime Lab. If they test positive for drugs, he'll be charged accordingly. Again, Zukovsky is being extradited to New Hampshire as we speak. He will be charged with 7 counts of negligent homicide. Reporting in Springfield for Worcester News Tonight, I'm Catherine Underwood.
In order to secure what he calls a, quote, clear right-of-way for the redesign of Kelley Square, Worcester City Manager is asking to initiate land takings necessary for the project. City Manager Ed Augustus says the project includes 59 temporary and 33 permanent easements over property owned by abutters. He says they need to be obtained by the city for the reconstruction of Kelley Square. The total cost of the easements is about $1 million. DPW says the easement parcels were appraised and landowners have been notified. The city has received more than $370,000 in a federal grant to clean up and develop brownfield sites in Worcester. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency awarded the city the money. City Manager Ed Augustus says it will assist with the removal of hazardous materials from sites. In a statement, the city manager says this supplemental funding adds to our existing brownfields redevelopment program, which supports cleanup activities across the city, as well as for the intended use on the ballpark site. Team USA advancing to the quarterfinals in the 2019 FIFA Women's World Cup after beating Spain 2-1. For fans in central Massachusetts, it's a promising sign. Our Roslyn Flaherty joins us live now with more on today's win. Roslyn.
Olivia, people were out at restaurants this afternoon watching the game, and for one soccer player, she says the games are inspiring. Dana Goulet started playing soccer when she was 5 years old and has looked up to the U.S. women's soccer team ever since.
It's great having a female figure and doing so successfully.
The U.S. team's push for the World Cup continued Monday after a hard-fought win against Spain. Goulet says she's been watching every step of the way.
Some of the games are very, very good in the competition, but U.S. has definitely been dominating quite a bit, so I'm excited to see where they go.
Goulet also coaches young girls at Massachusetts Youth Soccer in Lancaster. She says the cup gives them inspiration.
Mostly like in the sports world, you see a lot of the male sports, and those are what's really big. And then younger girls, there's plenty of girl sports too, but like not to this caliber. So seeing the women's U.S. team go this far and be this big is great for especially the younger girls, as like an idol almost.
She wasn't the only one watching the action. Dozens were glued to TV screens at Funky Murphy's in Worcester. Owner Cal Dolan says the games are great for business.
People get excited, especially with the Ladies World Cup on. It seems to attract more people than the men sometimes. U.S. being world champions as well.
Monday's victory also great for soccer fans who are hoping the U.S. team can win it all again and bring back a trophy to the U.S.
Go U.S.
I hope so, but we'll see. Don't want to jinx anything.
The U.S. team will play France on Friday. Roslyn Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.